Good morning, dudes. What is up? Hi, my name is Amanda. Some people call me Mandy. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. So, for those of you who didn't see my introduction page, this is my page, or my introduction video. This is my page, Unsolved, Iowa, where we will be bringing back to light different unsolved murder cases in Iowa. For those who did see that, welcome back. Here is a video that I wanted to upload the day before yesterday, and I realized that making videos is a lot freaking harder than I thought. So I had like a bunch of pictures and like stuff like that I wanted to incorporate into my videos. Unfortunately, I really suck at computer stuff, so I'm hoping that when I get this video out today, my beautiful son or my gorgeous daughter will help me put my pictures in it. But until then, I guess we're just going to go with what we got. So today we are going to be talking about a very special case that happened in 1988 in Muscatine, Iowa. I'm going to try not to do ums in this video. I know my introduction video was just like, I was so nervous. So yeah, I'm gonna try my hardest not to do that today. So this is, I would say, the biggest heartbreak case in Muscatine history. Amber Marie Hayes was 7.5 months old at the time. Amber Hayes was found decapitated, dismembered, and discarded on the bank of Lake Odessa is what happened. And actually today would have been her 80th birthday. So let's all get her name back out there. You know, she deserves to be heard and to be seen. She deserves justice. This case is kind of crazy. So yeah, let's all wish her a happy heavenly 38th birthday. Amber Hayes, you are not forgotten down here in Muscatine, baby girl. Let's get started. Amber Marie Hayes was born October 21st, 1987. She was born at the Muscatine General Hospital to Terry Hayes and Mary Castile Hayes. Her current name is Mary Eric, and I don't want to mispronounce that. Mary Eric, we'll just call her Mary in this video. Amber Marie, she was 24 years old at the time. Amber Marie Hayes was born a beautiful, healthy baby girl weighing 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and she was 20 inches long. Beautiful, beautiful baby. Now, just so you know, I have all my notes and stuff right here, because I don't want to miss anything. So if you hear my papers ruffling, that's how it's gonna go. So hopefully the rest of this goes a little bit better. Okay, yeah, so Amber Marie Hayes was born 1987, October 21st. I'm not sure about the time on that. I couldn't find the time really. So when she was born in 1987, the 7.5 months, I guess, after she was born between her death, there's not really much information to find regarding how the children's life were during that time. Doesn't really say a lot. All we really know is that after Amber Marie Hayes was born, her mother Mary and her biological father, Terry, had separated. She had moved in with Les Brocker. Les Brocker and Mary lived together at 603 Clay Street in Muscatine. If you guys are unfamiliar where that's at, that is between Park Avenue and Hines if you're from Muscatine. If you're not from Muscatine, I will be posting some pictures to kind of reference. So I will post a map of their house and what their house looked like back in 1988. So they were living there together. Now it is said that they had known each other pretty much like their whole life. They've known each other for years. They were dating at the time. They were living together. He claims to have been like, oh, you know, this great father figure to the girls, especially baby Amber. It's what has been said, mostly by him, I suppose. We will find out. So he's, you know, he's watched these kids before. Nothing to worry about. So on June 9th, 1988, Mom Mary decides that after 7.5 months, you know, she can go out with her friends and she's going to have a good time. So she leaves baby Amber home with Les. He is babysitting her. So Les is babysitting baby Amber. Mom is out with her friend for, you know, a night out, supposedly after 7.5 months. That's just what was said. I'm trying to decide where I want to go after this. Okay, so she goes out. Okay, she goes out to the bar. The baby is left home with Les. Mom goes out with her friend. So they go to Chet's and they go to Terry's Hideaway. Chet's and Terry's Hideaway are former bars in Muscatine. They are no longer there. I do have some pictures that I will post of them too. So like, it'll be down there. So she goes out to Chet's, Terry's Hideaway. Mom comes home a little after 1. Before 1:30, she comes home. Amber is gone. She's gone. Not in her crib. Nowhere to be found. So Mom asked Les. He's like, you know, where's my baby at? Like, where is Amber? And he claims to say that a lady had come in while he was laying on the couch with a pillow over his head. And I will explain why later he has a pillow over his head. But lady comes in with a pillow over, comes in to get the baby, and he didn't notice. She had a pillow over her head. He didn't think anything of it. And you'll know why later too. So he didn't think anything of it. Somebody comes in, they pick up the baby. He goes about back to his nap or, you know, whatever the hell he was doing. Not watching the baby, of course. Mom comes home, can't find her. She asks him where he's at. He like freaks out and doesn't want to say anything. He like walks off. He comes back. She asks him again, you know, like, hey, where's my baby? He tells her his exact words in the warrant was, I'm not telling you until we talk about us. And obviously the mom was like, what the fuck, you know? So she ends up calling 911. Dude grabs his keys. He leaves. He takes off. 911, everybody comes to Mary's house. They file the report on the baby. They are currently looking for Les. They want to ask him questions. He was the last person seen with the baby. So he takes off. About, I want to say it said 6 to 7 hours later, they locate him, they bring him in, detain him. They detain him, put him in custody for being obviously like a prime suspect in her missing case. I'm going to back up a little bit because there's more that needs to be talked about this night. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. This is like my first video, so I might have to totally redo it. I don't know. Because I lost my train of thought right there. Shit. I'm going to try to edit this out, but if I can't, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's what happens on the date of the disappearance. Now we're going to run back just a little bit, and I'm going to explain kind of why this is like all fucked up. So it is said, and it is there's evidence that the mom and Les were into drugs and drug activity. It was said that they were selling and using drugs in the house. In other words, in one of the court cases, Les himself says it was like a 7-Eleven. There was people in and out of the house all the time. So with that being said, it's kind of like, ugh, I wouldn't want him to watch my fucking kids, bro. I never would. But it is also said, and he told police this, that he had been up for more than 4 days. So at this point, he's going on 4+ days with no sleep. He claims that he has a severe cocaine headache. It keeps him from lifting the pillow off of his face. So this lady comes in to get the baby. This dude doesn't even move the pillow because he just, he didn't get enough sleep. He's all messed up. The baby's fine. It's like a 7-Eleven. It's probably just some random crackhead coming to take the baby for a walk. It's like, what? Yeah, so that's kind of like the story of why that's kind of the story of why he says he doesn't know what happened, which is bullshit. But okay, so let's keep going. That's the day of the disappearance. Mom goes out, blah blah blah. She comes home, baby's gone. This dude, drug addict, has been cracked out for 4 days. Just supposedly some random lady comes in and steals the baby. Now, with that being said, after the disappearance, there was like a 4-day search party. The family, Mary and her family, the baby's grandparents, I don't want to mess up their last name, Flakes. They were the Flakes. I believe it was Marvin Flake was her grandfather. Let me double check that. Yep, Marvin Flake was her grandfather. That was Mary's dad. So they put out $1,000 reward for some, it's like any leads. And so they go on there's this 4-day search. I mean, they're searching trash cans. They're searching over 1,200 trash cans on garbage routes that were around the area, around Clay Street and whatnot. They searched wooded areas. They searched ditches. They had like more than 75 volunteers. They had the Muscatine Saddle Club out there working on it. They had the Iowa National Guard. They had a Iowa National Guard helicopter out of Waterloo, Muscatine Police Department, several other surrounding police departments. Pretty much like it was just a really, I mean, they were worried. They knew there was something off, and they were really trying their hardest to find Amber. Unfortunately, 4 days later, 2 little boys were riding their ATVs. In this case, they were riding their 3-wheelers. In case you didn't know, they don't make 3-wheelers anymore. Just a side note. 2 boys found her on an SUV. How did they find her? They found a baby's head. A baby's head laying on a dried bank of Lake Odessa. They call the cops. And can you imagine how traumatizing that would be for like some little kids, dude, to find that? I mean, even as an adult, I can't imagine. I couldn't find out who these boys were. I did try really hard. I'm sure that they kept that a secret for a reason. But yeah, I can't imagine. They probably still feel some kind of way about it. That's nuts. So they were found by these 2 boys that call the cops. Cops come. They end up finding, besides for the head, the decapitated head that they found on the bank, they found the pink diaper bag that was hers, her blanket, and they found her limbs. So they found her legs. The torso of Amber Hayes was never found. That's crazy. It's so sad. I mean, it really is just like, there's no words for that. I don't know. That's crazy. yeah, say, let's just take a minute and just, rethink about that. It's just nuts. What they did end up finding, regarding the body, which was kind of hard for me to find. So in the autopsy report for Amber, it does show that her actual cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. So now we have a baby that just apparently vanished into nowhere. She was found decapitated, dismembered, cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head. Also, the man accused, Les Brockert. I'm not sure if I said his full name in the beginning. Yes, his name is Leslie Brockert. Les Brockert. I'm sorry, I should have clarified that at the very beginning of the video. The suspect is Leslie Brockert. Leslie Ray Brockert, I believe. Yes, it'll come up. I have all kinds of info on it. So Leslie Brockert. This is really messed up. So Leslie Brockert was found with sand in the passenger floor and seats of his car. He was found with a shovel. He was found with gloves. That just, I don't understand why they can't test those things, why it never has been tested. It blows my mind. But again, we'll get into that too. This case is just like, it was weird for me to try to put together. Like, I got all my notes and like set them out. And it was like, it's hard to even know where to start. But yeah, okay. So she was found terribly. Absolutely terrible. Amber Marie Hayes was finally buried on June 23rd. At Babyland in Muscatine Memorial Park Cemetery. I do believe, and I could be wrong, 2 years ago, there was a detective, and I've been trying to reach out to him. Love to hear from you, officer. There was a detective that, reopened the case, and then he's like, it just reclosed. Nothing surfaced out of it. They claim to have given the family closure because, I guess, I'm assuming this is just my assumption, okay? I'm assuming that they exhumed the body from the first burial because the second burial, what I read was a cremation. But I'm not sure if that's true because that wouldn't make sense, you don't cremate somebody if their case isn't unsolved. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. That's just what I found. So I'm hoping I'm wrong on that one. It was really wasn't a lot said. So at the time, at 607 Clay Street where they were living, they had a neighbor, Jose Cañas. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So Jose Cañas was a neighbor. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and call him Joey because it's easier to remember. So now Joey was the neighbor of Mary and Les at 603 Clay Street. He says that Les would often borrow tools from him, sometimes without asking. And he just noticed that he was missing a shovel. He never told Les he could borrow it. He was missing a shovel. He also says that on the night of the 8th, which was the night that the mom went out to the bar, on the night of the 8th, he saw her pink diaper bag sitting back behind their houses in the bushes. So you have, when you're coming down Clay Street, their house would be on the right-hand side. They're pretty close together, but they got a really long backyard. And by their garages and stuff, by the alley, there's a bunch of bushes and stuff. Again, I'll post a picture of the house and stuff. So he claims that he had seen this diaper bag. The messed up part about that is that Joey does not bring this up to the police for 10 months. Why 10 months? I don't know. I don't know why he didn't. He also says that on the 9th, the morning after, on the 9th, that he had seen Leslie Brocker driving around in South End, Muscatine. Now, if you guys aren't from Muscatine, South End, Muscatine is farther, like in the south of Muscatine, like towards, like going out to like Lake Odessa, Fruitland area. He claims that he had seen him with a pink backpack riding around in his car. Which is, I don't know. I think it's kind of suspicious. Because, like, for one, why wouldn't you say something right away, bro? Like, you know, you had all those cops at your house and shit the night before. You know, like, if this is true, why wouldn't you say something? I have a theory on that. But why wouldn't you say anything? And you just happen to see him the next morning with the pink diaper bag. And how did you see inside of his car? And you just happen to see him the next morning driving around to South End. You know, the baby was found at Lake Odessa and you're not going to say anything? Okay. Okay, Joey. I don't get it, but okay, Joey, whatever. I think you're fucking lying, but okay. So, the police don't have enough... The police don't have enough evidence to charge Leslie for this crime. For murder. For murder, let's just say that. They don't have enough evidence to charge him for murder. So, they proceed to charge him with first-degree kidnapping. Now, first-degree kidnapping in 1987, if found guilty, would have been a charge of life in prison with no possibility of parole, which would have been beautiful, wouldn't it? That would have been great. So, they did try him for that. He had a trial hearing. They did not end up having it in Muscatine because of publicity is what they say. Publicity and like people knowing you, which is kind of messed up because I don't know how they did. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago. It's like she'd have been 38 years old today. Man, my grandma's had cameras and stuff. Like, I think I remember there being like news and shit like that. I really could not find a lot on this case. Like, it, for there being supposedly so much publicity not to have it in Muscatine, I don't know. I just thought I would find a lot more. So anyway, they held it in Johnson County, Maquoketa. Sorry, I'm like looking over at my notes too. In Maquoketa. October 24th, 1988. He was found guilty. So it's a 4-day trial. I believe it started on the 19th. He was acquitted on October 24th. So he was found not guilty of kidnapping 3 days after it would have been her first birthday, which is super fucked up. Now, the lawyer on his case, I'm sure some of you know him, and I have tried to reach out to him for comment too. It's John Wonder. John Wonder now is still works in Muscatine. He is a magistrate judge for Muscatine County. He is also an attorney. Back then, he was the attorney for Leslie Brocker. The judge was J.L. Burns. He is no longer with us. Rest in peace, Judge Burns. There was something else I was going to add on there. Oh, yeah, John Wonder. God. So, he was found acquitted. There's two reasons for this. Two main reasons that they were acquitted, that he was acquitted for this. The number one reason is because they decided that Joey's witness statement was not trustworthy. He was not a trustworthy witness because he waited 10 months to even come out and say anything. Also, I want to like talk about this, but I don't really like, I was trying to look it up and it's like kind of hard to. So the person who like comes to the crime scene, and like tries to decide the time that the body had been there, like when it was left there, they thought that it had been between anywhere from 12, like around 12 hours before, 12 to a day. And they base this off of a research where like you go by the growth of like maggots and flies on the body. So that's how his prediction came out. That's how he made his prediction, and it was discredited in the court. So ultimately, yeah, he was found definitely not guilty. Yeah, I don't like that either. Also, let's not forget this name, Tony Ramsdell. Tony Ramsdell is another suspect in the case. Tony Ramsdell is a suspect in the case because he decided he wanted to play alibi for Leslie Brockert. He claims he was with Leslie Brockert at his house the day of Amber's disappearance. However, he chose not to show up to his subpoena for court, and apparently the court just didn't care. They were like, that's fine. We don't care. We don't need your witness statement. Whatever. So he still is and always remained a suspect in that regard, that he knew something. A lot of people think he's very possibly involved. Helped his friend do this to this baby and cover up the murder. And we'll probably never know unless we get to reach out to Tony Ramsdell, which I actually have reached out to like all of these people. I've reached out to Joey Kanyes, Tony Ramsdell. I have reached out to Les Brockert. I have reached out to the original. Oh, the two original investigators are passed away, bless their heart. I have tried to reach out. John Wonder. I have reached out to the DA's office actually in Muscatine, and Makokata. I have reached out to our wonderful Jim Barry out there. Jim Barry, I hope you see this video. Hi, buddy. I've reached out to all of them, and really, I've getting like some things back, but really like not a lot. Seeing as how the cases were closed, and he was acquitted, a lot of those records should be available through the courts. And it was a hell of a time with the Muscatine DA's office just to even like, I guess, get their attention, or even like for them to acknowledge like, hey, this should be public record. Where are these records at? Yeah, it was pretty weird. So they really didn't say anything until I had talked to the DA in Makokata. Now, with that being said, Johnson County DA, shout out to you guys, because you guys were I believe it was a lady I was talking to, but it doesn't really tell you on the email. It just says the office. Very, very, very helpful people. And they were like, no, you should be able to give them the same information that you gave me, and they should be able to pull up the court case and the records for you. Going back into town today to see if I can get those. And we'll see how that goes. Muscatine DA was not very friendly in that regards. With that being said, to the Muscatine Police Department, I love those guys. I have not reached out either. I have tried to reach out to the last investigator that was on the case. It starts with an H. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but if you guys want to know it, comment down below, and I will post his name on there. I also did very, 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 like, investigating into these people. Mainly Joey Conyers, uh, Tony Randall, obviously Les Brocker. I have dug into the mom, Mary Eric. Um, I've dug into the dad, the biological dad. Unfortunately, when this was all occurring, he was not around at the time. They were separated, and I don't think that he really knew what was going on. There wasn't a lot of statements made by the father, except for just about his grief. It's pretty sad. So that's probably why you're not going to hear Terry's name in here very much. Bless your heart, Terry. Sorry about your daughter. You're not going to hear him in here a lot. I also dug into like the family background. I reached out to friends that went to school with these people. I just hoping to like hear, just kind of like hoping to hear something. And here's what I found. So let's see if this changes anything for you. I don't know. Dude, we want to start with? Let's start with Joey. Let's start with that freaking neighbor, dude. Okay, let's start with him. And I'm not going to be polite during this part, okay? Let's see. Joey Edward Conyers. He was age 33 at the time. He was born April 9th, 1955. His federal inmate number, his second name, 0807269. That is because Joey Conyers is not a great person. It's kind of ironic that he's a drug addict and a major drug dealer that lives next door to a 7-Eleven of drugs, and it's just kind of like coincidence or no, like, because I think it's kind of fucking fishy, but okay, so let's hear. He was a neighbor. Now, he had served prison time around 1991. He has been arrested for controlled substance, drug tax stamps, possession of cocaine, giving controlled substances to inmates, assault with intent for bodily injury, and like it's not just like one of these times. Like he's had several of these. So he's definitely I found a lot of things on him. He's definitely I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the cartel, because a lot of people's theories are, oh, they owed money to the cartel, or they owed money to dope, or something like that. I'm just gonna like shut that down in my opinion, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You owe a drug dealer a bunch of money. They're not gonna come to your house while you're sleeping like a piece of shit and just take your baby and kill it, and just because you owe them money. Like, no. And if any of you have ever known anybody that has done drugs, and you would know that. They're not doing that. So I think it's shitty. I mean, if there was an argument between drugs or something like that, that's different. I think one of my theories that I was kind of thinking, I don't know if I want to bring that up because it's not proven. And with that, before I continue, with this being said, anybody that we are discussing about in this video is innocent until proven guilty. They're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Not in my eyes, okay? I'm not vouching for the court, because I think there should have been charges. So Joey Conyers, yes, he was not a good man. He's a drug dealer, several drug charges, went to prison. He just makes this, this statement, this witness statement, and he doesn't say anything for 10 months. Why? Is it because he was scared to have cops at his house? Probably. He's a drug dealer. Is it because he had something to do with this, where they all messed up and somebody accidentally hurt this baby and they tried to cover it up because they didn't want to get in trouble? Like, something happens. Something happened. And that's kind of my theory too. I mean, if I had a after looking at this, if I had to think of a theory, I would say my theory is that this was a drug-fueled environment. these people were definitely on drugs. He admits to being up for 4 days. It's like a 7-Eleven in here. My theory is that this guy was so fucked up that he hurt the baby. Either he dropped the baby, when he tried to pick it up, or he was trying to feed the baby, dropped it, smacked its head on the counter. And I don't mean it like that, Amber, but I don't want to say her name when I'm referring to him. So I believe he hurts this baby. He doesn't know what to do. He tries to cover it. His friend helps him. Boom. I think that's what happened. But that's just my theory. Because all the statements that I have found so far is just kind of like he watched kids all the time, like he was a father figure. Doesn't seem really fatherly to me, but that's my theory. Okay, let's move on. Now, Mary Eric, she has a little bit of a record too. The thing about Mary though is her record really comes after the death of her child. So it comes after the death of Amber. So I'm not really going to go too far into that. Pretty much it was just a lot of like forgery and fraud type of things. Nothing like super crazy. And like I said, that was mostly after her daughter had died. I would probably lose my shit too. At the same time, it was said that there's different perspectives on Mary. A lot of people that I've talked to or that have sent me messages or, said that she was very hurt and she was very concerned. I left this part out too. Amber was not the only child of Mary. Amber had an older sister that was 8 years old at the time. We'll just call her Sister B because she was a minor at the time, and I have talked to Sister B, yes, but I'm not going to put her name on here just because I don't really feel like it's necessary. She was 8 years old at the time, and she was not home. She was staying with her father. Thankfully. I mean, it's terrible what happened to Amber, but thankfully it wasn't the both of them. It's terrible. Now, Leslie Lee Brockert. Les Brockert. Inmate number 0207576. He is a convicted felon because he's just a piece of shit person, bro. I've not found anything good on this guy. He was born 7/3/1959. He was 28 years old at the crime. I did reach out to him at his new address. So if you got that, or if you're friends with him or anything like that, yeah, please, I'd love to hear from him. I really would. I have a lot of things I'd like to say, but yeah, so you can only guess what his criminal record looks like. It's a bunch of shit here. Let me read it. Lots of traffic stuff. Several assaults with injury. Arson in second degree and possession of explosives, which is where he tried to blow up his girlfriend's car. Cute, less cute. Burglary in the second. Burglary in the third. Possession, exploitation, drug charges, the classic. It's the classic stuff. Now, as for Mr. Tony Randall, I didn't find a whole lot of dirt on him. I think that he was more of a suspect in the fact that he was a friend, and he was around at the time. And, he indulged in a little bit, He indulged, but from what I found, he really didn't have, any crazy, criminal record, it was really nothing that I had found that was, super alarming or anything like that. So, I did find out where he lives, too, so, I've been trying to reach out. Yeah, so that's kind of the dump that I got right now on the update. I mean, I guess I would call it more of an update on the case. It's so wild. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's completely heartbreaking that a beautiful baby girl, 7.5 months old, not bothering anybody in the world. I mean, all you gotta do, bro, is just give her a bottle and put her back to bed. It's crazy. And like I said, I could imagine being those kids or anybody actually that was there on the scene when they found her body. And it's in speculation if the mom had anything to do with it. And that's not a speculation from me. I've got several emails about Miss Mary and how she conducted herself after that. And I'm not going to speak on that right now because actually I have the pleasure of meeting with Mary and Sister B later on this morning. They would like to sit down and talk to me. And I'm thankful. I'm very grateful because there's so many holes and like questions that I want to know. I want to know between the birth of the baby and then like, was he good to the kids? Was like, how was the living situation besides for like the drugs? Were the babies taken care of? Was it, I want to know how long she knew him. I want to know how long they dated. I want to know like all of that. Like, were they high school sweethearts and then she had an affair or something? Or like, I want to know all of that. I also want to talk to Sister B because, you know, she was 8 years old at the time. I can't imagine with your family being under the spotlight your whole childhood that was probably a very comfortable situation for her. I know that Sister B has spoken out quite a bit in regards to her sister's story, her situation. I know that she really wishes to find out who did this to her baby sister. So that'll be fun. I'm not fun. Oh my God, Amanda. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at these videos. This is my first one. I'm really going to work on my video etiquette and, you know, this clipping and pictures and stuff because I really wanted this to be a super cool video. And I spent like 48 hours and I think I got like 2 pictures on my last video and I deleted it. So yeah, I'm really excited to meet with them. Very, very excited to meet with them today. Also, I got a really weird message. I don't know if you guys like seen that, but I've got a couple of those where people are like just saying like crazy stuff, and it's like, dude, I'm just, you know, I'm looking into this case. I want to bring it to light. I want everybody who doesn't know about it to know about it. I want the people who are almost starting to forget about it to not forget about it. It's, you know, 38 years. 38 years, where's the justice? You can't tell me that in 2025 that we can't decide where this piece of sand came from. Especially, just a little side note, Lake Odessa area, like all that area down there is like a special type of land. You don't find that kind of like habitat or environment anywhere else in Iowa. And you can look that up. That's true. I'm not making that up. So they should be able to, you know, trace that. It's just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And you know what? I was getting so pissed when I was doing this research because I'm like, negligent homicide, bro. Negligent homicide at its finest. Is it not? But obviously that's off the table. Negligent homicide has a statute of limitation of 3 years. Back then it did. I looked it up. So back in 1988, it holds a statute of limitations for 3 years after the crime was committed, which is shitty. And I'm gonna look into that even more. And I did try to reach out to a friend who is an attorney. I did try to reach out to him because if it's still that way, I think it's pretty shitty. I think that any crime or death involving a minor child shouldn't have statute of limitations like that, especially 3 years. I think that if they found him guilty of negligent homicide right now, that he should be able to be charged with that. I don't think that there should be a statute of limitations when it comes to the death of a child. That's, just my opinion. I know I'm forgetting something. I don't want to end this video yet because I know I'm forgetting something, but if I am, I will post it down below. Or if you guys have any questions, post down below. Let me know. Thanks for watching my video. Like I said, I know it's kind of like all over the place. I've been stressing out like the last 2 days because I wanted this video to be like so perfect, but then it's kind of like back and forth. Like, do I want to tell this first? Do I want to tell this first? There's like so much stuff that just kind of goes together. So anyway, with that being said, please share, please like. I know it's not the best video. Don't come for me, okay? I mean, you can. I don't really give a shit, but please don't. If that being said, any friends, family members, old co-workers, anybody that went to school with them, remember anything or have any statement about any of these people involved, literally anybody involved, Tony Ramsdale, Leslie Brocker, Mama, Joey Conyas, just anybody, or even if there's a name out there that like we don't even know, I'm going to look into it. Let me know. So if anybody wants to talk, speak up or answer some questions about that would be cool. And with that being said, this goes out for the Muscatine Police Department, anybody that worked on this case, the Muscatine DEA. I would really like to know why you're not giving up those records. Oh, and with that being said, when I talked to Amber's mom yesterday, well, I talked to her yesterday and today, or her sister actually, I'll talk to her mom today. She said that there was a lot of evidence that was lost in the case. And I had tried to ask the DA about that, if that's why they're like being so weird about, cooperating, because Makokodo was fine with it. They were like, if I had the paperwork, I'd give it to you. So it's kind of weird. I'm wondering if like they lost stuff, they lost this evidence, and like they don't want to say anything. It's like, oh, it's been 38 years, nobody's noticing, so we're just not going to say or do anything. I don't know. Could be anything. So with that being said, if anybody has any comments, anything like that, I would love to hear them. Please share the shit out of this, and let's all wish Amber Marie Hayes a happy, heavenly 38th birthday. Let's bring at least some truth. After 38 years, justice just seems like it's so far away. I hope not. I really, with like every being in my body, I hope that baby girl gets justice. She gets justice. She didn't get to live a life. She didn't get to, it really just like makes me want to cry. It's disgusting. So let's bring her name about. If we can't find her justice, let's try to bring her some truth. If not truth, let's bring her some love, okay? Let's at least wish her a happy birthday today. So with that being said, I am out. Happy birthday, Amber Marie Hayes, baby girl. I'm sure you're the most beautiful angel. This is my page, Unsolved Iowa. Stay tuned, because after I meet with some more people and stuff, I will be doing a part 2. And I'm going to try to make it way cooler than this. So hang around for part 2. Later, guys.